Hey guys, Edwin Culver here. Hopefully this is showing up right for you. But I'm an artist and creator who makes music to express the burdens of others so they no longer have to bear that burden themselves. And so today you guys get to see the CDs. I'm going to spend some time signing the CDs and telling you guys a little bit about the stories behind the music. This is your last chance to get to the pre-order discount. If you just click the link that's right there, you can still get the CD. Tonight's the last night to get the pre-order discount. Plus, obviously, I'll sign it for you if you purchase it tonight, and I'll be watching my email and that sort of thing if we get any last-minute purchases. But yeah, I got quite a few CDs to sign for you guys. I'm going to tell you about the stories behind the music, and obviously share how you can go and listen to it later as well. So without any further ado, we might as well get started. I got to do this officially. I got my Coca-Cola here, my dollar Coca-Cola, so I'll be hanging out. You guys can ask me any questions about the music, about the process of writing a CD, the process of getting it recorded, the process of getting the artwork done, just all of these things. Feel free to ask questions about that because it was a big learning process for me, and I'm happy to kind of be all the way through it now. And soon these CDs are going to start shipping out this week to everybody who ordered. So cheers, guys. Thanks for supporting me and getting me to this point because I couldn't do it without you. Now, here's a big old box. We got 100 CDs in here. So, yeah, 100 per box. Open that up. And this is what the outside cover looks like. You guys. So Edwin Culver, our souls stretched tight across the skies. And I think I talked in my last video how that was a reference to a T.S. Eliot poem. So I open up the packaging here. And pull it out like this. We got the front cover. This photograph was actually taken by a Vietnamese friend of mine, and I can probably stick a link in here too if you'd ever like to check out his work. He does great photographic work. And then I had some of my Chinese friends verify these characters. So you get there's technically 3 pieces on this CD. The first one's A Bridge Away, Exits Within. The second one, And She Was With Such Grace, which is from the War Suite, and talk a little bit about the War Suite here in a minute. And then the third piece is Scarlet Letter Red, Chaconne Across 3 Movements. And so when you guys get the CD, and you're going to be able to open it up, and there's going to be descriptions of the music on this side, and then obviously we got this artwork. But then when you pull it open here, you take the CD out. There's going to be a little message right here. So when you get the CD, make sure to read that message because it's actually going to show you how to connect further and get some sneak peek of the next CD. I mentioned, that this second piece on the CD, track number 2, actually comes from a piece called the War Suite, and the War Suite's actually kind of composed of 5 pieces of music. So this is just one of the 5. And so the next CD is going to have that whole piece, the whole War Suite, all 5 movements. So when you open up the CD here, there'll be some instructions so you can go and get a sneak peek of the entire War Suite, and obviously be notified when that CD is coming out. So I got to get my fancy pens. I was trying to test this the other day with black permanent marker and realized that everything on this CD case is black, so black doesn't really show up very well. So I got these nice little silver ones. My friend Nanette Jones, a good teaching friend of mine, she's got all sorts of colored markers and stuff in her classroom, so I was experimenting and found that these silver ones work the best. But let me pull up here the names of everybody who's purchased so far. Let me pull up my email too, because like I said, tonight's going to be the last chance to pre-order this CD, and I'll be watching that. I'll make sure I get yours signed as well. But I think also the best spot that I found to sign these was just on the back here. Oh, thanks so much, Susie. Appreciate it. It's coming to you soon. It's gonna get stuck in the mail, and it's coming to you soon. But yeah, seriously, couldn't do this without all your support. And actually, what I'm gonna do is as I'm reading, through, as I'm signing each of these, I am gonna call you guys out by name. Those of you who've purchased already, and just express my gratitude and my thanks, and maybe share just a little bit of about personal memory that we have, or something like that in common. But the whole idea for these CD actually kind of started off in a sneaky way. While I'm waiting for this, I had a concert coming up in Newport Richey, and Susie was there. And before I did that concert, I realized I'd never actually set foot in the town of Newport Richey before. I'd never done a concert in Newport Richey before. And so we started, marketing and building an audience for Newport Richey, and we got some people start almost, about to start buying tickets. And then my mentor kind of recommended, like, what's something else that we can do to, kind of spice it up, and maybe even sell more tickets or give people more value when they buy tickets. And I just kind of was like, well, I guess I could sell them an EP. And honestly, at that time, I did not have this written. I had no idea what music would be on the EP. So my apologies to some of you. I told you, like, hey, throw in an extra $10 on top of your CD, or on top of your ticket price, and you'll get the new EP when it comes out. And people started buying it, and that was just like the proof of concept. That was the proof that, okay, I should make this. And it's really interesting how sometimes you need that little push out the door. Because I honestly, I've been putting this off and putting this off. There's all sorts of crippling emotions, all sorts of doubts that I've had, like, I don't know that I'm ready yet. I don't know that it'd be good enough, that sort of thing. And finally, just putting it out there and getting feedback from real people, not keeping it to myself, but actually asking other people, would you buy this, and giving them the chance to buy it. They bought it. And so I was like, well, I got to go make it now. So it is, finally done. And right off the bat, I can see, so we've got 2 CDs here going to Lisa Redhead. I wish there was a way I could just like type in here and tag folks as I'm going. We'll have to see here. I'm still new to getting Facebook running on both the mobile and the laptop. But got these, so these 2 are going to be for Lisa Redhead, or Mrs. Redhead as I know her. And Mrs. Redhead, you've supported this project from the very beginning. It's sometimes not even of your own volition. Mrs. Redhead, worked as the secretary, or works as the secretary at the school I used to teach at, and that's where I really first started sharing and launching my music career. And she's always been asking me, when's the CD coming out? When's the CD coming out? When's the CD coming out? And it's really tricky to speak and sign at the same time. When I finally announced that this was, kind of going on sale, boom, she was obviously the first one to purchase one. So Mrs. Redhead, I can't thank you enough. Appreciate you so much for this. Thanks, Susie. God has blessed you. Continue to follow the gifts. Yes. This is all God's blessing. This is not me. As I talk about the stories behind this music later in this Facebook Live, you'll see that, like, this music didn't come from me. It's been all inspired by other events and that sort of thing. But these 2 CDs are for you, Mrs. Redhead. Hey, Peter, good to see you, man. Thanks for the love, dude. Your CDs, I'm going to be signing it here in a few minutes and sharing a little bit. But yeah, those 2 CDs right there are for Mrs. Redhead and her family. Her kids attended the school, and they've come to my concerts and supported me, and really can't overemphasize how much you can't do this. It's kind of cliche to say. You hear it all the time from musicians and artists, like, I can't do it without you guys, and you kind of feel like, all right, they're just giving us lip service. But honestly, once you go and do this, you realize it's very easy to get tired out by this sort of thing. Get tired out by doing music, get worn out and run down just from all of the things you have to try and do simultaneously. But it's obviously always worth it when someone comes to a concert and they show up, especially when they come like a second time and you've got this relationship that's building between you and that person. And it's really it's even more rewarding when they come up and they share how the music spoke to them, how they kind of perceived the message in it and everything like that. And of course, you get interesting conversations from that. So we got this next one going to Mr. John Harrison. Again, yeah, John, you're in New Port Richey, and you supported me. You reached out to me by sending me a direct message, and we were just talking about music and musical taste. And I've still got you, we're in my inbox so that we can connect next time I'm up in your area, and hopefully you can come to a concert that time. But this CD's for you, John. And I hope you enjoy it, and I'll let you know. Well, follow the directions in there, and then you'll get to hear the new music for the next CD. Okay, nobody. We got a big old order here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 5 CDs. After I've signed these 5 CDs, I will talk about the meaning of the first piece. And I'll tell you guys the story behind the first piece, A Bridge Away, Exits Within. Then I'll go back and sign a few more, and I'll probably tell you the story of the second piece, and then sign a few more and tell you the story of the third piece, and then we'll wrap up. But before I tell you the story of the first piece, I mean, this is kind of an amazing story. I might have to make a separate video about this sometime. But these 5 CDs are actually going to go to my biological mom. Just for privacy's sake, her name's Agueda Perez. I don't call her that, but she's it's a long story, but she had to put me up for adoption when I was just an infant, and just a few years ago we actually got to be reunited. And the place where we reunited was actually one of my concerts. It was a library concert, and she brought my 2 half-brothers, and it was really, I mean, Susie had mentioned down here a minute ago about blessings, and really this whole journey of musicianship has been a huge blessing. Oh, thanks so much, Hannah. That's awesome. Thanks for the love. Awesome. Yeah, Hannah just pre-ordered. Hannah Kim just pre-ordered. Thanks so much. I will, as I'm running through here, I'll make sure we get you a CD there, and I'll share a little bit about the way you've impacted the trajectory of this musical journey. But the same, my biological mom, the way she's impacted this, she's inspired a lot of parts of this music, and it's just, words can't really sum it all up. That's why we use music. That's why we use instrumental music like this. My pen seems to be running dry. I need an assistant. I need someone who can open these for me. Make the process faster. While I'm signing these, if you guys who are watching, if you have any sorts of questions, like I said, anything about the recording process, anything about the writing process, anything about music in general, Hannah's can't wait to hear about it. What an incredible story about your mom and brothers. Oh, thank you so much, Hannah. Yeah, the story, like, I've left out so much, so many details there. I'll do like a separate Facebook Live about it at some point, and really give you guys all of the nitty-gritty details on there, because it's mind-blowing. And you too can have a signed copy of the new CD. Just hit the pre-order button below, like Hannah did. Peter, music is what feelings sound like. I love it, man. Oh, I love it. That's fantastic. Music is what feelings sound like. Yeah, that gives me shivers. Recently I saw an article that musicians, or not musicians, but some people, it's like a biological phenomenon, actually. Some people don't feel the chills when they listen to music, and other people do feel the chills when they're listening to music, which kind of blew my mind, because like I've just always grown up like, well, I get the chills when I hear a piece of music, you know, that really gets to me, that really gets down to my soul. You know, for whatever reason, it's you know, usually this interval. I'll play it on the piano here real quick. That major seventh interval, that dissonance, for some reason, it just like always gives me chills and gets me going, and I love it. I absolutely love it. But yeah, some people don't actually like get the chills when they're listening to music, and I'm so sorry for you guys. I feel like that's such a pity. But even, you know, universally, you go to any culture and they have music of some sort. I wouldn't necessarily say that music is a universal language, because I think, you know, like the rock and roll of a 15-year-old punk kid is not going to communicate the same message to, you know, a 45-year-old soccer mom. Don't mean to stereotype there, but you know, like the in that sense, it's not really a universal language, because she's probably not going to want to listen to that stuff at all, and vice versa. He probably doesn't want to have to listen to Sandy Patty or whoever. But both would, you know, at least perceive those emotions, and in that sense, I do think that music is universal. So yeah, that was really interesting, Peter. Really appreciate you contributing that. Getting a stack here. All right. Oh wow, man, you guys are hitting me hard. Okay, I gotta answer Hannah's question. I gotta sign this CD for this individual. Hannah, I'll answer your question real quickly, and then I'll talk about this one. And I gotta tell you guys the story behind the piece, so I'll honor you there. I gotta kind of over deliver here tonight. So Hannah, your question is, do you have a producer? So I didn't do the recording myself. Yeah, do you have a producer? I want to chat with you more about the recording process. Yeah, absolutely, Hannah. Just send me a message. Like always, you know, I should introduce, you know, Hannah to everybody. You know, if you guys look down in the comments here, you'll see Hannah Kim. She's a phenomenal soprano, phenomenal. You really should just go to her page, like her page, start looking at her videos, send her a direct message. You know, don't just like her page, because Facebook's algorithm is getting so complicated now. If you really want to get a taste for how excellent Hannah's music is, go and send her a message, connect with her in person, and I think you really will be blown away. Not just, you know, by her music, but her personality and her character and everything like that, and the stories that she's sharing through her music. You know, go connect with her, because if you're a fan of classical music at all, if you're a fan of music at all, you really should connect with her and get to know her and get to know her music. So anyway, so Hannah's asking, do you have a producer? I want to chat with you more about the recording process. Yeah, so I don't have a producer. I do have a really good friend named Michael, and he owns a recording studio here in Sarasota, and he's got quite the resume, I guess you would call it. I don't know anything really about all of that tech, all of the big mixers, and I know how they work and I know what they are, but I don't know enough to be able to tell, like, oh, this model versus this model. But when I sent my friend, who is an audio engineer, and he actually purchased a CD too here, so I'll be making a shout out to him. But my friend Chris, when I shot him this guy's website, he was blown away. He was like, that mixer, you know, is however many thousands of dollars, and oh, that's incredible. I'd give an arm and a leg to be able to use that equipment. So I guess it's, you know, pretty high end, you know, so yeah, he helped me out. And I guess the reason I hesitate in saying, do I have a producer? Michael's, I mean, he's a super swell guy, and I'm trying to remember how he worded it, but he told me one time, you know, he was kind of like, I'm not going to tell you how to write your music. You know how to write your music. I'm just going to tell you how to make whatever you write sound better. And that's really so freeing as a composer right now. And this, especially the recording of this was so eye-opening. By the time we got through recording this, my ear opened up to so many different possibilities, and it's really tough to explain if you haven't done it, if you haven't sat through that for hours and recorded. There's things that happen when you put a microphone in front of your guitar and you're listening, and those little subtleties, just like the angle that you hit the string, the pressure with which you played a note, the just overall dynamics of a phrase as you played them. When it's right in front of a little microphone, and then you get to hear it played back on hi-fi speakers, you realize why these really big name guitarists like John Williams and Julian Bream and lots of others, you realize these guys practice in recording studios, and they listen to these subtle things on top of subtle things, it's a whole nother world once you start moving into there, and it's invigorating. It's cool because it's excellence. There's a high standard of excellence. So I hope that kind of answers your question, Hannah. I do have a guy who he guides me on the recording process and making it sound the very best it can. But I wouldn't say he's a producer in the sense that he's like arranging the pieces for me or composing things to go along with my music. Everything on this CD is solo guitar. I think the next one's going to have some electronics with it, but I didn't give away that secret. I'll tell you guys, well, real quickly, this CD, my goodness, I'm not going to get through all of these tonight. Maybe I'll have to, let me know. Yeah, thanks, Hannah. I'm glad that answered your question. Thanks. Guys, this is taking me a little longer than I thought. We're already 25 minutes in. Let me know in the comments, either a thumbs up or comment, would you like me to make this a part 2 video? Because we might not get through all of these tonight. So I might just go for 40 minutes or so, and if we don't get through all the CDs, I can make a part 2 and give everybody one more chance to pre-order the CDs before they ship out this week. But let me know in the comments if you would like that. And I'm gonna talk about the fellow that this CD is for. This is for Mr. Longnecker. So Mr. Longnecker, he's just been, had a huge influence on my life. Been one of the greatest mentors I ever had. Mr. Longnecker is the principal at the school that I was teaching at when I first moved down here, and he and his whole family, invite me all the time over for Thanksgiving and just all sorts of things like that. They've always made sure I had a place to stay or a place to just find some like family time. Essentially, they kind of became my family away from home when I moved from Michigan. And just the lessons I have learned from Mr. Longnecker, the lessons about just being a virtuous citizen and a man, and I really can't speak highly enough for Mr. Longnecker and his family. So the CD is for you guys. Okay. Peter commented, "Peter, hope to see you soon, my friend. When I was younger, music hit me. Now, not so much, unless it's unique. You, my friend, are unique." Oh, well, Peter, I appreciate it. I'm glad. I really, that's, yeah, I'm glad you find this music unique. Peter came to that show in Newport Richey, and he actually got to hear one of these pieces performed live, one of the pieces on this CD. I performed it live there, and I felt really good about that performance afterwards. I felt like I just really nailed it, and several people told me, like, out of the whole program, that was the one that we liked the best, was the piece you wrote. And I like to think that it was kind of unique and it stood out. I like to, well, I think all music does this to a certain extent, but kind of blended a lot of different traditions into one piece. So that one's for you, Peter. Thanks so much for supporting me always, staying in touch through Facebook Messenger. Yeah, if you guys haven't shot me a message on Facebook Messenger, do that, because then you can find out when concerts are coming to your area, and you can find out, when CDs are coming out, and sometimes I share all sorts of behind-the-scenes stuff too. Okay, Michael Tisar. Michael Tisar. Yeah, thanks so much for purchasing, man. We met at a restaurant that I used to perform at. It's a fancy Italian dining restaurant, and I was performing there to pay the bills and get by and get some experience as a musician. And so yeah, we met there. You and your wife come all the time, and the whole family at Kazantika loves having you in the restaurant. And you guys have always been great, very very complimentary of my music, and you guys went the extra mile here and supported me. So I'm really really blessed to be able to give this back to you guys. And we've got Richard Bailey. Again, man, I mean, you guys are so awesome. Richard Bailey, you, sir, well, you and your wife, Barbara, you've come to a couple of my concerts. You're always sending me emails, talking about music, letting me know about your performances in the Sarasota Choir. You've got an incredible knowledge of classical music and the classical music world. You've always given me lots of very, very, very insightful feedback after a concert. Like, most people, are able to sit there and enjoy it, but you're able to sit there and listen with a critical ear and really pull out like I was talking about those subtleties, like in the recording process. Like there's subtleties when you're performing a live concert as well. And so you're able to hear those and pick those out, and that was just really, really, really a cool thing. Just hearing your feedback after every concert. So this signed CD is for you and your wife. That. And Mr. Richard Cosgrave. Mr. Richard Cosgrave, very similar. You came to one of my concerts, I believe it was at a library. I've been doing so many concerts lately, it's starting to blur in my mind. You came to one of my concerts at a library, and very, very similar. I mean, Richard and Richard, I guess you guys are so similar, but you gave me some really good feedback after that concert. You've stayed in touch since then. I really hope to come back to your town. Might not be at the library this time performing it as a concert, but we'll have to get something organized there, because I know there's a few other people who've been asking me down in your neck of the woods. And wow, this one really, really surprised me. The person who ordered this CD. By the way, if you're just now logging in here, I'm sure you can see in the description, this is going to be your last chance. Well, I don't know, this might be your penultimate chance, or second to last chance, with how slowly I'm getting through all of these. Pre-order the CD right now, and you'll get it signed, discounted since it's pre-order. Afterwards I'll have to add, a few bucks to cover shipping and that sort of thing. But yeah, these CDs are going to be shipping out this week. And, okay, I promise, after I sign this CD, I will tell you guys the story behind one of these pieces, so I can deliver on my promises. This one is for Bonnie Martin. Bonnie Martin, I don't even know how you found the link to buy this. Bonnie's all the way up in Michigan, and she's been, dear lady who has, followed me. Dear lady that went to the church I was attending up in Michigan, and she's just always kind of kept tabs on my family, and she's been a huge blessing to us. And she's got a wonderful personality. She's very spunky. You're very spunky, I should say, Bonnie. So this CD's for you. I really appreciate you supporting me all the way down here on the other side of the continent, basically. Boom. All right. Need another drink of Coke. Let's talk about the first piece of music on this CD. It's called A bridge away, exits within. A bridge away, exits within. And you can actually see a live recording of me doing it on my YouTube channel. It's a little old, and not as good of a performance as on the CD, but you can at least watch it live right now if you're still waiting for the CDs. But I'll read a little bit here of the description. So a bridge away, exits within. Have you ever felt stuck, trapped by something you can't fully understand, no matter how hard you try? Perhaps it's something from our past that we never invited, or something we've missed in our closest relationships. This piece came to me when I felt stuck in life by several different things. Old scars, old habits, crippling emotions. I had been wanting to write a minimalist piece for the guitar for quite some time, and the repetition that's found in minimalist style of music seemed like the obvious technique for expressing this stuckness. So this first piece, there's more to the description that you guys can read on your own when you purchase the CD. But yeah, this first piece, A Bridge Away, Exits Within It, like I said, it's about stuckness. So, the title is A Bridge Away. It's like this bridge is far away. You can't reach this bridge. There's like one more bridge that you need to get over to get out of your circumstances. For me personally, like I said, a lot of it was crippling emotions, like old habits that I was just trying to beat. That feeling like when you wake up in the morning and you're just like, oh, another day, like doing the mundane tasks of daily life, and you're just like, I can't do this anymore. I feel stuck, and always feeling like that bridge is away. But I say, a bridge away exits within. Okay, so you got this bridge to get out of your circumstances. It seems like it's way over there, but as you listen to this piece, you're going to hear this struggle, and it's like this feedback loop. The music just keeps looping and keeps struggling and keeps trying to break out of the mold, but then it gets sucked back into that loop. And it keeps trying to break out, and it gets sucked back into that loop. And towards the end, it does finally break through, but it doesn't break through because of any sort of external action. It breaks through because there was a breakthrough inside my own heart. Honestly, I would say it was through surrender. And for me, the ultimate surrender is, I believe, to my Creator, and who I call my Heavenly Father. Because this entire piece is in a sense autobiographical about certain things I've been holding and not surrendering to Him, and in that sense not finding peace because of them. And it's actually also dedicated to someone very close to me who is going through a very, very, very similar situation at the exact same time. And I like to think of this first piece, A Bridge Away, Exits Within. I like to think of this piece as kind of the breakthrough piece for my compositional process. I don't remember how. I remember being, like, again, going back to stuckness. I remember being stuck, trying to come up with a new piece to write. I knew I wanted to write a new piece of music, but I just couldn't. I was stuck. I couldn't come up with anything inspiring. And suddenly, when I found out this other individual was going through a very similar struggle to mine, I actually just took a blank piece of sheet music, and at the top, I wrote, like a blank, because that was for the title. Okay, so just a blank line, where kind of like a fill in the blank, and that's where the title is going to go. And I don't know what the title of this piece is going to be yet, but I'm going to put blank, dedicated to, and the person's name. And something, mysterious happened when I wrote that person's name on the score, and suddenly this blank piece of music manuscript paper, suddenly, there was an urgency. There was a kind of a pregnancy to the meaning of it. I was like, okay, I have to write this piece now because it's dedicated to them, and I need to, going back to my why as a composer. I lately been calling myself an artist and creator who expresses the burdens of others so they no longer have to bear them alone. And that was that piece, the first piece on this CD, was really kind of the germ of that, the inspiration, the first time I really did that. And then from there on, every other piece on this CD. And I think, honestly, I think I'm going to make it kind of my mission that every piece of music I write from now on is always going to be dedicated to someone else. There's just something mysterious that happens once I make it less about me and more about someone else. And in this case, the piece kind of writes itself. and I think it comes with a really cool story. So yeah, do grab this CD. I'd be honored if you took a listen to A Bridge Away, Exits Within, and yeah, at the end you'll hear that breakthrough moment. Ho ho! Well, okay, we got 3 minutes, guys. So I'm going to sign one last CD here, and I think we'll call it a night. And I'll do a part 2 of these CD signings. I'll do part 2 here in the next 24 or 48 hours, depending on when I can make time. But really appreciate all the questions everybody's been giving me. I will real quickly tell you a little bit about who this CD is for, and then I'll check my email, see. Yeah, we've got some more pre-orders, so that's cool. So I'll have a few more people to sign some CDs for here next time, and I'll talk about you guys and again kind of share some of our relationship up to this point and my gratitude for you pre-ordering this CD. And I will also make sure to talk about the other 2 pieces on the CD next time. And yeah, come ready with your questions, because this was really engaging, having the questions here from like Hannah and Peter and Susie, and yeah. So this last CD I'm going to sign tonight is for Marv Gerbig. So Marv and Sue Gerbig are, I feel like, my biggest fans. You guys have come to my concerts all the time. You guys have, obviously supported me by getting the CD. You guys have, constantly kept in touch. You send me messages with stuff about music. You send me like cool little infographics and things like that, talking about the effects of music on the mind and the brain. And you guys you're always asking very cool, like deep questions about the meaning of the music, the history of the music, how to listen to the music, and you guys are always telling everybody about my music. So it's just huge, the support you guys have given me. And again, I appreciate you so much for supporting this EP, and this CD is going right out to you guys. So Marvin Sue Gerbig. And there we go, guys. I'm pretty sure we're about to hit that 40-minute mark, so I am going to make this, I'm going to do a part 2. I'll aim to do it tomorrow, exactly 24 hours from now. This is, like I said, your last chance to grab the pre-orders right now while it's on discount, and you can get it signed by me, and yeah, officially the first CD. So bring your questions next time, and as always, guys, stay musical.